Hey Rebels, how are we today on a Sunday? Great to see the sun shining. Hasn't really shone much this week. It's been a nasty one, really, hasn't it? Freezing cold. Uh, just wanted to start today's live real quickly to say congratulations to the 13s. Big win, 13-2, which is fantastic. The 3s with another massive win, 14-4. The 2s with a 13-2 win, which is another fantastic win for them, and the 1s drawing 5-all. I'm not sure about what the 4s results were, so if anybody has them and could post them here, that'd be fantastic. Just hasn't, obviously nobody's had a chance to whack something on Facebook, which is fine. So I hope that everyone's good and had a great game yesterday. Some great performances all round, from what I could tell. Just a quick shout out to Ryan Cockburn. Massive catch yesterday in a 2s. Awesome catch, to be honest with you. Probably changed the way the game finished yesterday, because if he doesn't take that catch in right field, it's just sort of tailing away from him. He just kept going and come up with an awesome catch. If he doesn't take that catch, the 2s game is just a completely different result. It could have rolled on from there for them, which would have been unfortunate for the 2s. But great catch for Ryan. Well done, fantastic. And there was just some great all-round performances throughout the 1s and the 2s yesterday, from what I could tell. So well done, guys. Today I want to talk about the difference between superstition and ritual. And I think that when I talk to a lot of junior players from all different ranks, they've got no idea what their rituals are. And I think that it's really important to recognise what it is you do and why it is you do it. Because if you don't understand it, then you're not quite recognising what you can add to your game. And even for just your life in general. And I'm hoping that with the stuff that we talk about here, you recognise that there's so much more you can take out of what we do in baseball and apply it into your life. So, superstition, what is it? Yeah, a lot of times you're going to hear throughout different coaching styles and different leadership groups that are in clubs, that when they talk about routines and rituals, sometimes they talk about superstition, but the two they could seem similar, but they're very different. So a superstition is when you feel like you have to do it. If you don't do it, then you won't succeed, and you religiously do it because if you don't, then you'll fail, and that's not true. That's when it becomes a superstition. For me, I don't think that that's true. I don't think that you have to do something to be successful. I think if you do the work and you do the hard work prior, with training and stuff like that, then I think it can happen anyway. Where ritual or routine is something that you put in place that turns on your brain. Pinchy, how are you, mate? Michael Nash, how are you guys? So rituals and routines are important because what they do is that they turn your body on, turn your brain on, and it's like a switch that goes off, and then, yep, we're ready to do the thing, whatever it is. So let's just say it's hitting, okay? Without having in place routines and rituals, then you're going to find that consistency can be sometimes an issue. And some players do their rituals and routines without even realizing that they do them. And that's what I want to bring to your awareness today is how can we now start to realize what we do and why we do it. So remember, if a superstition is essentially it has to happen for me to succeed, a ritual is a way of us, or a routine is a way of us just to switch on and get our brain right and our body right to be able to go. Sophie, Timbo, how you guys going? So I'll give you an example, okay? So for me, before I take in a bat, the 2 guys ahead of me, okay? So there's a guy on deck and there's a guy in a box. I'll whack my gloves on. So I always put my left one on first and I always put my right one on second. I never do them up. I put my fingers in the ear holes of the helmet, and I just like to twiddle turn the helmet in my. Actually, I've got my helmet here. I'll show you what I mean. 2 seconds. So I always put my fingers in the ear holes, and I just flip it. I just rotate it and then I catch it. I rotate it and I catch it, and I do this for a little while. Just while I'm watching what's happening out on the field, while I'm watching the guys hit, while I'm watching the guy on deck doing his thing. But when I'm doing that, I go into a mode where I start to watch what the pitcher's doing, how are they holding the ball, what can I see, how can I pick up something that they're throwing, what sort of sequences do they throw in. This is my habit. This is what I do. This is my ritual. Okay, so. And so the next guy, so the hitter does whatever they do. They get a hit, they get a walk, they get a strikeout, whatever it is, and then the guy that's on deck goes into hit. Then I put my helmet on, my gloves are still undone. I grab my bat, I tap it on the pine tar rag a couple of times, and I like to just feel the pine tar in my hands. Walk over into the on deck circle, and I get set, and I take 3 left-handed swings. And the reason why I do the left-handed swings was because way back when I had some issues with my back, and my trainer and physio, and there was a kinesiologist that I worked with for a little while too. They were saying to me that sometimes it's better to take a swing in the opposite way just to warm up your back on both sides, so that you can prepare to do the thing. So so whether that was pitching or it was hitting or whatever it was, I needed to warm up both sides of my body. So I take three swings, okay, left-handed, and one at the top, one through the middle, and one down bottom, okay, and then I switch to the other side, and I get set to hit, and I'm watching the pitcher pitch, okay, and I'm trying to get my timing in with my front land foot. I take a swing up the top of the zone, and then I watch the next one, take a swing down the bottom, and I try and get in 3 swings. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can. I've got heaps of time, but I get 3 swings in, up the top, through the middle, and then down the bottom, and try and lift one, and then I get set. So what I do is that then I try and relax my body. So I put my hand on my bat, and I just sort of lean on the bat, and then I switch sides after each pitch, and then I switch again, I switch again, switch again. So then when it's time for me to hit, I'm relaxed. I've warmed up my body, and I'm relaxed, and I've noticed what the pitcher's doing from a different perspective, and I'm watching what the catcher's doing and how they're calling the game. So I can be prepared mentally to see what I would probably more than likely get when I'm hitting. Then I go up to, and then it's my turn to hit. So I'll walk over to the on deck, the batter's box, sorry, and I get my signal. I always put one foot in the box, and I like to wiggle my bat like this, right? And I've got a habit of breaking bats. I'll be honest with you, it cost me a fortune to play baseball, and because I break the bat so often, I like to just have a relationship with my gear. So for me personally, I like to look at the bat and I just go, me and you one more time, mate. Me and you one more time. Let's go. And I get set, take a deep breath. I put my next foot in. I reach out to the top, touch the outside of the plate. I touch the inside of the plate, and then I get set and I relax. Sometimes I take a warm-up swing. I like to get 2 or 3 in, but hardly ever get a chance to, in baseball, because the pitchers are working so fast. I don't really get too many opportunities to take too many warm-up swings. And then, so I take one normally, and then I get set and I'm ready to go. So, and then I go and do my thing. That's my routine. And I've over the years been able to break it down, because I've delivered it so many times in so many different ways to groups of hitters, so that they could then go, I wonder what I do. Yeah, and then normally we discuss that in a group setting. So if you guys have got anything that you find is maybe sometimes a little weird, that sometimes you think that's superstition, post it here and let's discuss it, because I don't think that if you can religiously do it and it turns your brain on, then you're good to go. But if you're religiously doing it, thinking to yourself that if I don't do it, I won't get a hit, that's not true. That's when it becomes a superstition, okay? So we want to shift that thinking, all right? Bo, how you going? Sarah, how you doing? So let's play it out. So I did my knee, what was it been, 8 years ago now, and I'm still uncomfortable with that. And it was probably, I hadn't played for about 6 years, 7 years, yeah, about 6 years. And I go to this, what they call a captain's challenge. And because I played softball for such a long time, it's where the old retired players that play for Victoria play a game for a fundraiser for the team, and they play against the current Victorian men's team. And my first game in there, I'm a lot fatter than I was then. My uniform's a lot tighter, a bit chubby around the midriff, that's for sure. And I get in here, and something happened. and I didn't realize I was doing it. And I had done this so many times, but I just went into an automatic pilot, and I get off a good shot. I come and sit down, and one of the guys that I was playing with at the time goes, "You know what? I just watch you do the same routine you've always done throughout your whole career, and you just got to hit. You haven't played in 6 years, and you got to hit." And I'm like, "Did I? Maybe I did." And what I found was I was able to go into an automatic pilot. I trained for so long and I played for so long that it just needed to happen. I didn't have to force it. And that's what routines do. Routines allow you, and rituals allow you to just go on autopilot and just go and do the thing. See, if you've done the swings and you've done the hard work of training, and then you create a routine or a ritual that works for you, and it warms you up, like I was saying before, I had to swing both sides just to loosen up my back a little, then do it. You should be doing it, and you should be able to know what it is and know what you get out of it. So break it down. Break it down. Have the chance to sit back and go, I wonder what I do. What is it that I do always that allows my brain to switch on, allows my body to be prepared to hit, allows my body to be prepared to pitching. So I used to do the same thing. I used to do very different things when I was pitching that were routines for me. So I'd get my warm-up pitches in, okay, and I would throw certain pitches. So if I was, softball would be thrown, in between innings, get 3 pitches only to warm up, and that's it. So I'd throw 1 rise ball, 1 drop ball, 1 rise ball, and then I'm on, yeah? I would walk back, I'd get the ball back from after the infield would throw it around, and I'd catch it, and then I would just reach down and touch my toes, stretch my hamstrings before I stood on the plate, and then just breathe and say the words, control what you can control. Control what you can control. Control what you can control. Okay, and we've discussed control what you can control in other videos. So, and then what was able to happen for me was I'd be able to step onto the plate, and I would go into an automatic mode where I could just relax and just let my body do what it needed to do. And if I found that the consistency started to happen, so same with hitting, consistency starting to happen, okay? Can you still hit without a ritual? 100%, yes. But there will be something that you do always. There'll be something that you do here, there'll be something you do physically that you'll always do to prepare yourself to hit. And I found that even if you have to run in, like I played with the twos yesterday and filled in for them because they're a little short, and I just found myself, without even thinking about it, while I was getting dressed, I was saying the things that I would normally say to myself to prepare from playing while I was getting dressed. and I had like minutes to get on the field, and I was ready. I found myself doing it, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about today. I had a bit of a chuckle to myself. I was in the change room, just quickly, just slapping on my uniform as quick as I could, grab my glove and run out there. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about it today. It was just like, wow, this stuff, I was in a rush and I still did it. I was in a rush and I still had to go, and I had to do that just to prepare. So I wonder what it is that you do to prepare. I wonder what you think about your ritual. Is there something you need to tweak a little bit? Is your ritual a ritual, or is it a superstition? I'm really curious to know that. And I'd love to see you guys post some stuff in the comments when you rewatch this even later on. It's not a big deal. Have some time to think about it, or grab one of the older guys and have a chat about your routines and get to know about what they do. Get to know about what they utilize in their routines to prepare for their games, for their at-bats, for when they pitch, for even when they set up with their defense. What do they do when they get ready? Do they just sit there and stand there and watch around and look at their glove, or do they stand there and they think about certain things that they have to remember? Like for some people, they might think about get the glove low, or they might think about dropping their knees, bend your knees, don't bend your hips, stuff like that. What is it that they utilize to prepare before they encounter something? Now, and think about this: if you're still going to school and you're doing the uni thing, or if you're doing high school, if you're going to work, if you're doing even primary school, it doesn't matter. What is it that you do before you go to school, before you go to work? What is it that you do every morning to prepare for the day? If your routine changes, and this is what I found a lot, especially counseling young kids, and even having this chat with adults, is when they alter their routines every day, and each day it's slightly different, and each day they're doing something different, they find that tends to be a little inconsistency throughout their day, all the time, and they find that their energy ebbs and flows, and it's not really something that just sort of waves out and just is even. You know, I like to think about energy like water over rocks. You know, whenever you see water run over a rock, it's always nice and smooth, and it's never really violent unless it's falling off a cliff. Okay, so when it's just running over the top of stones and small rocks, it's nice and even and it flows. And that's what we're trying to do with our rituals, is prepare ourselves for what we're doing to do. So if that's for the day, preparing yourself for the day. What is it you do? If you find it alternates all the time, maybe we need to just think about what it is, what sequence do we need to have things in to prepare for the day. For me, I like to learn a lot, and I like to take time for myself too, because, you know, to be honest with you, I don't get much of it. Okay, and when I talk about when I'm counseling and I'm doing stuff with other people, there's not a great deal of time for me. So, so I like to get up early in the morning. I'm normally up at 5 o'clock in the morning, every day, even on a weekend. And some days I'll go and learn. Sometimes I'll sit down and I'll do a course that I've been doing on the internet, or read a book, or finish some work that I haven't finished, that I need to prepare for the next day or that day, or like I do, I try to do this at least 3 times a week, is instead of doing the learning bit, I'll go and sit for 45 minutes to an hour just to prepare myself. And that time's for me. Just to sit there, I'll sit there with my coffee and I'll just chill. There'll be no one talking to me, because who's awake at that hour, let's be honest. And everyone's kind of leaving me alone. So I've got time for me. And I like to sit there. And sometimes, to be honest with you, we've all got stuff going on, and we, families, and we've got people, loved ones that are sick, loved ones that have passed. That's my time for that time. So if I feel like I need to cry, I will. I've given myself that time. Yeah, and I won't hold it and carry it on to the day. And if I wake up in the morning, I feel like learning something and I feel really good, then I'll go and do that. Yeah. But it's always that time. That's it. That time is scheduled, and that's it. I'll never do both, ever, because I don't have the time for that. Okay, so that's part of my routine. And then I'll go and have breakfast, I'll go and have a shower, and I'll get ready for the day. Yeah, and I'll get dressed and out I go. Yeah, and the last little bit's normally rushed. Okay, like most people in the morning. However, if we take this back to baseball and our sport, it's the same thing. Okay, so what is it that you need to get ready? So for me, I'm a pretty anxious sort of guy. So I like to get to the ballpark. I hate going to the ballpark, let me tell you this, because she's not here and she can't hear me say this. And if she ever watches this video, I'll probably go slap across the head. I cannot go to the ballpark with my wife. I cannot. I hate it. Yeah, because she normally will drive, and it'll be like driving Miss Daisy. It'll be putt, 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 nice and relaxed and nice and easy, and I hate it. Yeah, and I get really anxious because I need to be there. And if I'm not there early enough, I'll take that anxiety, I'll take that stress, and I'll put it into my game, and I hate it. And then that's the days when I normally lip off at somebody and get myself into trouble. So I like to get to the ballpark real early. That's a routine for me, because then I go through certain stages before I warm up, or before I'm involved in coaching, or whatever it is that I'm doing. I've got time to settle all that. So it's another routine for me. Just because I've got heaps of routines. Now thinking about it, I've got heaps of routines. So think about what it is that works for you. Take the time to recognize where it is that you need to adjust, because there might be some stuff that you find out about yourself when you start to take this inventory. What is it that I do? How do I do it? And number one, and this is probably the biggest, is why do I do it? Why is that there? What does that serve me? How does it serve me? Is probably a better question. How does that part of my routine serve me? And this is another big question you need to ask yourself. Is this a routine, or do I have to do this to succeed? Because if you do, that's a superstition. And some people have these superstitions, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Neither is good and neither is bad. Okay? When it comes to superstitions, you can have them and you don't have to have them. That's up to you. It's a personal preference. I just rather have a routine because it creates good habits. where superstition is demand, and it has to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'll fail. So then if you don't get a chance to follow through with your superstition, you fail. And that's here. Before you've even stood on the ground, before you even pick up your stuff to go to school, before you grab your stuff to go to work, before you even have your coffee when you first get to work, before you attend your first class, you know you're going to have a bad day. Okay? And you start to then look for ways to prove that you're right. And that's what's tough about superstitions for me. And this is the other thing too that I've learned a lot when discussing this with young kids, is that their superstitions about how and I work with some really high-end functioning kids. When their superstitions aren't met, they go to school and they start to run a self-fulfilling prophecy about how they're going to fail and how it's going to be a bad day. And that's tough. That's tough to wiggle out, because you can't just think that out. You gotta release that out of your body, like what we discussed last week. So take the time to recognize what it is. Are you a superstitious player, or are you a routine player? Yeah, and neither are bad. Okay, I want to make sure that's clear. Neither are bad. You just got to find a way of making them work. Okay, take the inventory, work out what's best for you. Rewatch this video, rewind it if you have to, pause it if you have to. Take the time to really null out what it is you do. Break it down. See, if I come over to you and ask you, hey, what's your routine? You should be able to break it down like I broke mine down for you. Okay, because I know they're not superstitions. I don't have to do them to succeed. I just like to prepare myself. And that's what a routine does. Okay, so enough of that. We're done for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys are getting the value out of this that you deserve, really. I want to serve you guys as best as I can. We all have strengths, and I really love to be able to help you tap into your strengths, tap into what it is that can make you so much better, on top of your greatness that you already have. So take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week around the ballpark. Take care.